Welcome to Christmas Eve, everybody. It is the night before the Blue Jays home opener, but there is actual real live baseball being played today and currently, something we didn't think we would get just 4 weeks ago. And with me to tee up the home opener tomorrow night, feel very honored to be leading off the kickoff show to the 2022 season is the normal gang, Chris Key, Adam Corsair, and Craig Borden, along with Brendan Panicard. Gentlemen, how you doing?
Game on.
Well. Here we are.
You guys ready or what? Like I don't sense enough excitement in the room right
Biggio
now.
season, boys!
There you go.
I was wondering when that was going to come up.
Just woke
right,
up
so,
the children and the neighbors' children. Your wife is going to be pissed.
So I think we
Started a
gotta
leak
start
right
the,
behind.
the official Biggio season boys counter is at 1 for this episode. What is the over under at? I'm going to set it at 3.5. Who's taking the under? Who's taking the over?
Who's taking the under?
I'll go under.
Over or under on one extra base hit or 2 walks tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which
Exactly. Well, it's wild that it's here, guys. It was hard to believe waking up this morning and seeing all the posts from MLB on socials and all the others that the season has started. It truly is, for us, at least as Blue Jays fans, feels like Christmas Eve because the season for us starts tomorrow. So in my mind, tomorrow is opening day, but we get a nice little preview of things going on. There's been a couple of good games so far, but of course we want to focus this episode, as we always do, on our Toronto Blue Jays. And there is some news to talk about just in terms of since the last time we recorded a week ago tonight. Some surprising roster decisions, or maybe a surprising opt-out from one player I think we all had penciled in to make this team without a doubt coming out of spring training, and that is the fact that Greg Bird has opted out of his deal with the Blue Jays. Kind of came out of nowhere because the guy was having such a good spring. Everybody was talking him up and being like, yep, this is the lefty that we need. This is the lefty that will be able to play some first base, play some DH from time to time. But at the end of the day, I don't know what it came down to, but Greg Bird was the one who decided to use the opt-out. That was in his contract. He's since gone to the New York Yankees. Considering that we have a Jay Bird watching birthday in less than 24 hours, I'm going to start with the birthday boy, Chris Key. And what are your thoughts on this whole Greg Bird situation? Like, was it just simply, do you think he wasn't happy with the role he was going to be offered? Did he want opt-out for the chance of maybe getting re-signed on a major league deal? Could it be vaccination related? Who knows? That's always something to keep into consideration with players this year. But I don't know which way you lean, Chris. How surprised were you when Greg Bird decided to opt out of his deal?
That guy.
how you really feel about it.
Well, like, no, that's going a little bit too far. But, like, it's very, very peculiar, is it not? Because, like, he went from more than likely having a spot as the power lefty off the bench, and if anybody knows me, I love me some power hitting lefties off the bench, let me tell you. But like it's really strange because he, from many conversations we've heard, he was almost assured a spot on this roster. Granted, he'd be playing behind the best first baseman, one of the best players in the game, in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. But he took a minor league deal with the Yankees, and there's more backlog at first base with the Yankees than there is with the Blue Jays. I don't think vaccination has anything to do with it. I think we could probably put that to bed because I don't see him going this far with the Blue Jays, and that being a question mark. I don't think the Blue Jays would bring anybody in or bring anybody on that would kind of question anything with that. It just doesn't make sense to me. But I don't know. It's freaking strange that the way things happened, and I can't put my finger on it. But like, there's some wackiness there, some real wackiness, and maybe we'll find out later in the year what actually happened. Maybe we won't. And it'll just be like the ghost of Greg Bird. And, sure as shit, the guy's going to come up after Rizzo. Rizzo's going to get hurt. Somebody else is going to get hurt. LeMahieu's going to be playing second base. And then Bird's going to come up and he's going to mash 20 or 30 friggin' home runs for the Yankees. And it's going to be Gio Urshela all over again. You just know that's going to happen.
Don't say that name. That's the name we don't say on this show.
Well, now he's with who the hell's he with now? Twins?
Twins.
Yeah. Well, good for him.
Craig, chime in with your thoughts on the Greg Bird situation.
I was right. I think I was. You guys know I was propping him up for 3 weeks before everybody else said anything. I loved his swing. He looked like he finally had something figured out. He had a sneaky good season in the minor leagues last year with the Colorado Rockies organization, but to the fact that it looks like he might finally have gotten back to the form that he had with the Yankees before he started having injury problems. But clearly he must just have his head stuck in New York City. He's got that, I forget the name, who sings it, but is it Adele that sings New York State of Mind thing going on?
Alicia Keys.
Alicia Keys. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So, but to
Billy
that point,
Joel originally? Come on.
Yeah, I don't
Let's
know.
go way back here to the OG.
It's not a New York minute. That's how
man.
long he was with the Blue Jays. He was there for a New York minute. But to that point, it's nuts. I don't get it. You would expect somebody that was at least coming there on a minor league deal to be potentially interested in actually staying with the team that he was with, and to the fact that they were literally going to hand him a job. Basically, if you look at the way this roster is constructed, he was probably going to be splitting most of his time at DH or first base with Vlad and Kirk mixed into a freaking, cocktail there just until they, got everybody, just to spell everybody. I think there was enough there that would have actually been a good solid playing time thing for him. And he could have been this year's Chris Colabello from 2015.
That was my thought too.
Just saying.
Adam.
Yeah, just to touch on and to echo Chris's sentiments about the vaccination status. I don't think that had anything to do with it. I don't think the Blue Jays are in the business right now of having anybody even on the minor league roster that's unvaccinated, especially in AAA. Maybe you can make an argument for the single A and the AA teams, but in AAA, there's no way. Especially if there's an injury. You look at the bullpen, you look at any of the pitchers on the Bison's roster. There is absolutely no way none of them aren't vaccinated. And same thing with Bird if he were to make the roster. I think he was just being greedy. I think, and it's his right to be greedy about it. That's fine. I just think he wanted everyday playing time. I don't know how he thought he was going to get it. But he thought he was going to, he thought he earned it. And you could make an argument that in other situations he did, just maybe not on this team because it's so loaded.
Then why go to the Yankees?
Because it's a familiar system.
Oakland A's or something.
It's a familiar system with him. Like he's been in that system before, and given the nature of the Yankees, maybe because of vaccination status with their players, he may be thinking I may be able to be playing more often or more regularly.
Motherfucker, he's gonna come up here and mash home runs like nobody's business up here.
It's gonna be like Josh Donaldson last year with the Twins to kill the Blue Jays playoff hopes.
Okay.
Donaldson's hit leadoff for the Yankees too. Just as a side note.
I think. Given the fact that he's not on the roster, came to a surprise to all of us. But hey, good luck to him. I have nothing really ill against him. So he provided us with some spring training entertainment. And this is exactly why you take the fucking spring training pledge. This is why you don't
Once
get
again,
invested into spring
you
training.
were the only one that took that pledge.
No. Brendan did. Brendan took it.
I took the pledge.
So Chris, you and I are the
50%.
oppositions. We're the ones that are anti-pledge.
50% of JBW took the preseason pledge, the spring training pledge. 50% of JBW.
As we drink our Kool-Aid, you guys can go ahead and have fun with whatever.
But moving on from that, look, I know this wasn't on the agenda. I do want to touch on. I'm surprised that it wasn't. No offense, Brendan, but I'm going to come out and say it.
Making Adam.
Yeah, I don't think.
He's questioning your authority.
We're talking about rosters and we're talking about vaccination status. I'm just going to say it. I don't think Jose Ramirez is vaccinated. And I think that's why he's not a Toronto Blue Jay. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Could be that he got a giant pile of money.
But he didn't. But he really didn't.
Still underpaid.
Well,
sure.
and if you
I agree that he's underpaid, but still.
If you heard baseball today, I think it was yesterday's episode maybe. The Padres did put in an offer. Chris Rose knows what the offer was. He wasn't willing to disclose that information, obviously.
Like the trade offer?
The trade offer. Yeah, if you go back and listen to what they were saying, like it sounded like it was a decent offer. And I wonder if it was something revolved around Paddock, who went to the Twins earlier.
Yeah.
I was just going to say they were willing to give up one of the guys that basically has won them 2 minor league championships in 2 different levels. It hasn't fully translated to the major league level yet, but there is still a lot left for Chris Paddock, and seeing him get traded, I guarantee you he was part of that.
Yeah, I wonder if Cleveland just wouldn't get off the Manoah train.
Yeah, that's
and
possible.
clearly that wasn't going to happen with the Blue Jays.
Or
Mhm.
It
Marino.
couldn't happen.
Yeah. It'll be curious to see what happens.
We'll
in
If
the
you
never
knew
know.
you were going to get
Jays.
Moreno away in that trade, but you were guaranteeing a chance for a good chance of getting a Barrios situation out of Jose Ramirez, though. That's the same thing we were talking about last season.
Moreno, if you
You
gave up
need an
Moreno
extension.
and it was an extension of what Cleveland just gave him, hell yes, I do
Yes.
it.
Yeah,
Yes,
same,
100%.
same,
That's the only
absolutely.
way.
Yeah.
100%. And on top of that, we're gonna find out come August or September when the Guardians come to Toronto. If he doesn't play,
That's why.
That's
there
why.
you go.
Yeah.
You'll know,
I mean-
unless he's already pre-injured or whatever. He's
Yeah.
sustained
Yeah.
an injury.
All of a sudden.
Yeah. Well, that'll be the thing that's going to be fascinating to watch this season is all the roster moves that teams make before coming to Toronto. I will say the Texas Rangers are all in Toronto. They are all 100% vaccinated, so there were no roster moves made by them. But the
Correct.
Oakland Athletics come to town next weekend on Easter, and we'll see what happens there. Maybe there's a couple players that can't come out for Oakland. But yeah, getting back to Greg Bird, a little surprising at the end of the day, especially considering the fact that he went to the Yankees of all places. But I think I'm with you, Adam. Familiar spot for him. It's a shame. I thought he was going to be a real contributor to the team. And Craig, you brought up Chris Colabello. That's kind of exactly what I saw for him. A guy who just kind of has a little resurgence, have a very solid year. Not a great one, but a useful contributor on a playoff caliber team. Last week as well, the second big roster move that happened between the last time we recorded. We finally got our answer to what's happening with Reese McGuire, and that answer is he's not on the team anymore. He was traded to the Chicago White Sox. I want to say, it was a day after we recorded, last week Friday, I think it was, or maybe on Saturday over the weekend, for Zach Collins, backup catcher for backup catcher, was the trade with the Chicago White Sox. Collins is also a lefty. Collins had a option left, but as we've come to discover, that option was already used by the White Sox during training camp or spring training. So Blue Jays have now since called him back up and used that option. That's how I understood it. I could be wrong. Is that he was already optioned and now they're calling him back up. But anyways, Reese McGuire's off the roster. Zach Collins is on. He made the opening day 28 as well as we've seen him post in the Blue Jays locker room on his Instagram and his Twitter. Or Adam, you went last on Greg Bird, so I'll start with you. What were your thoughts on the deal? It seems pretty not a bad little bit of business. It seemed like it was getting another lefty bat and a guy who they're apparently kind of intrigued by as a lefty bat who might have a little bit more to offer offensively, but not the greatest defensive catcher. I think Reese McGuire might have him beat there, but any thoughts on the deal for Zach Collins for Reese McGuire?
Yeah, it seems like it was flipped, right? So where McGuire was had the upper hand defensively, did not have the upper hand offensively. So they just pretty much flipped them. I think this has more to do with options than anything. And Reese McGuire sort of put him in a difficult position because I don't think he did enough really to earn a roster spot, especially given the fact that Alejandro Kirk is still on this team. But now that Collins is, you said he made the opening day roster. So that leads me to believe that Kirk is going to be primarily sitting at DH. Which is fine, but I don't think Collins' time in Toronto as a Toronto Blue Jay is going to be a lengthy one. I probably can see him going down to Buffalo. It would shock me if he lasted all of April without being optioned down. But I mean, it's whatever. To me, it's basically a linear move, and it just frees up some flexibility for the Blue Jays. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't think this is a needle mover at all. I don't think this is going to. When people see the lefty bat, it's advantageous, especially for this lineup, given that it's so right-handed heavy. However, I don't know that it's going to be utilized as much as people would like an ideal left-handed bat to be utilized for this roster. So the flexibility is there. The options are there. The talent is sure. I mean, like I'm not expecting a lot from Collins. So cool. It's a good move, sure.
Craig?
So did anybody else read the fact that in the midst of this whole thing was exactly the same with the whole rumors with Jose Ramirez that apparently Reese McGuire and Jose Ramirez don't get along? Yeah,
that was all fake.
I figured it had to be, but I thought it was hilarious. Yeah, it was all over the internet, so it was just people goofing around more than anything, I think. But I just thought it was rather amusing. And then what was the other one that went out last night that I sent to you guys? Oh, he must. It was somebody else that was possibly going to get traded. And go, oh, he must not get along with Jose Ramirez too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but very interesting. I think it's flat out to make sure that they have another guy and not have to force Gabriel Moreno into a hey, you're here. You know, he didn't even get a spring training. And the Buffalo Bisons got rained out tonight. I'm surprised it's not snowy because it feels fucking cold out here. But just saying, I think it's pure just roster flexibility. Now you don't have to worry about losing a guy from the 40-man roster. You got a guy you can keep going back and forth and get on the Mike McCoy train back and forth from Buffalo if need be.
Chris, anything else to add?
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot to say about it. It was, like Adam said, a linear move that just gives you a little bit more flexibility. He's not great, actually. In fact, we'll just say he's not good. He can't really hit. They're calling him a power hitting catcher, but like he doesn't hit for speed. Well, let's just flat out say it. He doesn't hit the ball. He doesn't hit the ball. He can't catch the ball very well. It's like JP, but minus a few points. Don't expect a lot from him. He's just another body to keep the bench warm. You're going to be seeing a lot more of Danny Jansen and Alejandro Kirk behind the plate. Instead of him, he's just there in case something happens.
Yeah.
So he's there when instead of having a DH spot removed or filled, you got another catcher there.
Yeah.
Let me ask this. Who plays more games as a Toronto Blue Jay? Who starts more games as a Toronto Blue Jay in 2022? Moreno or Collins?
My guess, Moreno. I mean,
yeah,
I agree.
Probably.
Something in this equation that just spells something's going to get traded eventually.
Yes,
they're hoping that both of those guys are going to, Jansen and Kirk for that matter. I think we already know that Kirk's going to hit from his spring training that he's had, but you don't know what you're getting out of Jansen. And then you got probably one of the best prospects in baseball waiting. Something's going to give, right?
Yeah. He'll force their hand. He'll force their hand.
Just like Kirk did at the end of 2020 when they called him up in September against the Yankees in one of those first games that he played. He's going to force their hand. But yeah, I'd probably Moreno, and he'd probably get most of those starts when he gets called up in late August or September because Collins won't have started very many.
Yeah, and I also think that this year,
I would say by August Collins won't even be on the 40-man roster.
I agree. I think this year Kirk is the Blue Jays' Riley Adams, but he's going to get a lot more than just Brad Hand.
All right, we have our first nice take of the episode. I won't call that a hot take. I'll call that a nice take. From Adam
normal take.
There. Couple other.
Come on, y'all Biggio season.
Couple other talk about before we continue on to wrapping up spring training. Ryan Borucki placed on the 10-day injured list with a right hamstring strain. Nate Pearson was also put on the 10-day injured list because of mono, which as we talked about.
I thought they were 15-day.
Yeah, 10. Just looking.
How the fuck does that work?
I don't know.
I thought there were 15 for pitchers.
Yeah, maybe. I'm just looking at his Twitter account.
Manfred again, changing the rules.
Yeah.
Somebody probably just doesn't understand the new rules and tweeted out 10 days for the hell of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Regardless, whatever. We're not seeing Pearson for a while.
Yes. Of the two, that one is definitely more devastating in my mind because who knows how long it will take with mono. That can take quite a bit. As part of that, Zach Collins, as we just talked about, was recalled from AAA. And Gosuke Kato made the roster out of spring training as a utility man along with Santiago Espinal, which was expected. Of those injuries, are we all in agreement that Nate Pearson is the one that is the most devastating? Or maybe I'll frame it this way. What's the future of Ryan Borucki with this team? Because we obviously know when Nate Pearson gets over mono and he builds his strength back up, he's going to have a spot in this bullpen. But Collins was called back up as the roster moved because of Borucki being placed on the 10-day injured list. We know he dealt with injuries towards the end of last year. We know he struggled since the back half of 2020. But he's a lefty who can throw 97, 98. And as we touched on last week, somebody will take a flyer on him. So, Craig, I'll start with you. What is the future with Ryan Borucki on this team?
He's going to be on this roster. Come on, we got Trent Thornton in this bullpen right now. Just saying.
Yeah.
So, there's going to be he's either going to be hurt in the roster. I right now, unless he's all of a sudden literally the reason that you have to dump somebody off the 40-man roster, I don't see him being moved to the point where he's a liability to keep on that roster. Because like I said, right now he's on the injury list. Okay, great, he's taking up a 40-man roster spot, but we have somebody else in playing for him right now. So give it a little take. I don't know, but right now I just don't see a world right now where Ryan Borucki isn't somehow on this roster.
Chris,
I'm gonna change the one part of your question and say, out of the two, Pearson and Borucki, which one is more impactful? And I will say that Ryan Borucki being on the 10-day or 15 IL is more impactful to this team than Nate Pearson. And the reason I say that is because the replacement is Taylor Saucedo.
Okay.
And that guy is going to be this year's Tim Mesa. And we are not going to be in a place anywhere close to where we should be without that guy. Something just tells me, and I had the Robbie Ray pick last year, that Taylor Saucedo is going to be our savior out of the bullpen this year.
So we're going to get tweets.
Kid's got talent,
right? He's had a really
Saucedo
good spring.
season.
Yeah,
Saucedo, that's his guy.
Hey, there's one for Chris. Yeah. Saucedo season.
Yeah.
Season.
No, he had very quietly last year was a very good year for him. And he has had a very good spring. I think he had one outing that was kind of bad. But relievers are going to do that over the course of a month. So, like, am I concerned about that? If a reliever has a blow up inning like once or twice a month or once or twice every couple of months, like, that's to be expected. So I don't read too much into that. This kid's got a really good arm, and he's gonna be kind of an unsung hero. I think you're going to hear a lot about Simber. You're going to hear a lot about Richards. You're going to hear a lot about Romano, Mesa, Pearson when he does eventually come up. Merriweather. I think Merriweather's going to be an interesting story this year, whether he can stay healthy or not, and whether he can be what we saw in that first Yankee series last year, where we were like, holy shit, this guy's throwing 100, 101 and just blowing Judge and Stanton away.
That was fun.
Or is he going to look a little bit more mortal like he was at the end of the year, and you don't know what you're going to get for him? But you need that dark horse out of the bullpen. I think it's going to be Taylor Saucedo, because it sure as shit isn't going to be Trent Thornton. So it's going to be him. So in a roundabout way of answering your question, devastating to lose Pearson because he is going to be our closer when he gets right, and he's going to be back. But Taylor Saucedo is more important to this team right now than Ryan Borucki.
That's a very good way of answering that question. So Adam, you have the freedom to choose which way you answer it, either the way Craig started or going down Chris's avenue.
Oh man, I mean, I don't mind answering it straightforwardly. I think, well, we'll talk about Ryan Borucki first. I don't think he has much of a future. I think they're going to give him the opportunity. I don't trust the longevity, and I don't trust the stuff. So I think sooner rather than later. How many options does he have? Does he have any?
That's a good question. I don't think he has any.
He doesn't have any. That'd
be a fade.
He probably won't even clear waivers. I don't believe. No.
Somebody will pick him up.
Yeah, Tampa will pick him up, and they'll turn him to a lightning rod.
Or to that fact, we know they'll do what they just waiting.
Yeah, no, Tampa will do what they did with Aaron Loop.
Yeah, probably.
That worked out pretty well.
So I don't know that it's sort of put up or shut up with Borucki, and I don't trust this stuff. So if he does move on, then whatever. I anticipate that. I don't think he's going to be a Blue Jay for the rest of the season. We'll see him once, and then after that, it'll probably be it. One call up, I mean, after the injury, and he'll have some sort of tenure, and then he'll get DFA'd. Pearson, we were expecting him to take the closer job, so this comes at a very, very poor opportunity for him, at the cost of a poor opportunity for him, rather. So right now, and Chris, you and I sort of echoed these sentiments last week. It's a lot of pressure on Romano. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking like he's going to be the closer anyway, which is true. I mean, it is his job to lose. But if you see him get caught in a jam, or the velocity is ticking down, or he gets a blister or fingernail breaks. These things happen. I'm not even being hyperbolic. It would have been nice to have that sort of gas ready to go in Nate Pearson. I don't know that anybody in this bullpen has that sort of velocity that screams closer right now if something were to happen to Romano. So it just takes away a little bit of security and leverage on the Blue Jays side. So I think in that aspect, especially given how the bullpen performed last year, every game counts, right? And if we're going to make a serious run at this bullpen needs to be, I don't want to say perfect, but it's got to be way above average. Yeah, way better than last year. And if you are not having those arms, because correct me if I'm wrong, there's 10-man bullpen right now?
I believe so, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, that tells you all you need to know. They have the attitude of they're going to have as many arms in there. And
it's really 8-man because, like, Stripling is going to spot start, and Thornton is only there if it's a blowout on either way.
Yeah. But to that point, though, those guys are there to chew up innings when you need to chew up innings. It's going to be interesting. It's because to your point, you did just lose a guy that you thought was going to be the biggest piece of your bullpen. And,
at least a setup guy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, and what was the thing? You got Garcia right now. If he was the guy that was going to be taking up the 8th inning, and then you have Tim Meza, and then you would have hoped to have had Pearson in that conversation. Now you got who?
That's what I'm saying.
Do any of you guys know how hard Merriweather was throwing this spring?
I didn't see. I'll be honest. I didn't pay too much attention to a lot of this.
I didn't either.
They had him
against
the Yankees on one of the things, and I want to say he was in 97, 98.
Okay, well that's good. That's
so it looked like he was back to form at the end, because those are the numbers. Remember last opening day that he was crushing the Yankees with. So to that point, and then the Yankees announcer was like, "Who the hell's this guy? He's got to steal the closer's job." And we were all thinking he was going to at that point. If he returns to that form, the Pearson thing, hurts a little bit less. But imagine a bullpen that has both those guys at form in it. Good effing luck, American League hitters, guys. That they're done on that point. You got guys coming out like that can, just rifle through strikeouts. It's what this team needs in this bullpen.
Yeah. And that's why Merriweather and Romano are so important. Like, if you have that 3-headed monster down there, 3 guys throwing 100 plus, and Merriweather, Pearson, and Romano, you can, like, every one of your pitches are a little bit more forgiving then. Because you don't know if you have to gear down for that. Because I think all of them at least throw a slider. Merriweather throws a curveball for sure, and Pearson throws a curveball for sure. I don't know if either of them throw a slider. There's breaking pitches in there, but you don't know if you're sitting on that breaking pitch or if you're gearing up for 100. And
like Merriweather's changeup.
That's a big
Pearson's
difference.
Changeup goes 90.
And if you really want to fuck with hitters, throw Simber in the middle of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Honest, I think we're all in agreement that the bullpen, just talking about the velocity, some of the names that could be in there, might have the ceiling of a Rays, Yankees, or White Sox bullpen. But I think pretty quickly, even though
the Yankees bullpen for sure.
Probably, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But I think pretty quickly, if there are an injury or two that happen early on, or some guy stumbles out of the gate, I don't want to say it'll be like last year, because I do very much believe this bullpen is way better on paper than the one that started last year. Last year started with some overachievers like Tyler Chatwood before he just couldn't strikes anymore.
He's a key part of this bullpen, Brendan.
Yeah, exactly. But that leads into the next topic of conversation, which is wrapping up.
Didn't want to see anybody warming up behind him.
No, not at all. Not allowed.
Fucking Montoyo.
So spring training is done.
You want to pitch better.
There were a lot of standout opportunities. There was a lot of standout performances and some performances that were a little underwhelming from certain guys. I'll leave that up to the listener and to you guys to choose who each of those are, and that's where I'm going with this. Adam, I'll lead off with you. Pick one player that impressed you particularly during spring training and one player that you may have been disappointed in. No, I don't go with that. No,
oh, God.
Get that mic out of there. He's going to yell.
Say him if you want, but and then go with somebody who's kind of disappointed you or maybe given you cause for concern. Maybe there's a stumble out of the gate. And then maybe you could take that cause for concern and be like, you know what, even though they had a bad spring, I'm not actually concerned. They'll be fine once the season starts. So definitely an impressive one that concerns you. And then you can throw in the third of the guy that struggled, but will be fine.
I'm not going to say
mute
Biggio.
Mute him.
I'm not going to say Biggio because, quite frankly, he didn't impress me.
Whoa.
Oh, good. Okay. So he's the second half. Good.
Okay. No, he doesn't need to impress me. He's going to be just fine.
I was going to say, where's the hot take there?
So I guess the person that would be nipping at the heels, that sort of, I mean, I guess you could say Espinal is someone to keep your eye on, and he seems super, super determined. There was an article written recently, I think it was with Shai, saying that he is here for a starting job. He wants to get a starting job, and his best bet to do that is taking over Cavan at second. And I think there's going to be some sort of a platoon there anyway. But, you know, given the versatility, given the fact that he put on, I want to say they said like 15 pounds of muscle. Which is
he did say that picture was a little exaggerating how much weight he put in, though. But either way, Espinal, best shape of his life candidate.
Bro, Santiago Espinal does not skip leg day. So good for him. And I think, given his spring and given the fact that he seems determined, I'm going to put him up on a player to watch. Disappointment. This is going to come as a surprise because his production when he did play was still good. But I was disappointed that I didn't see enough. So I don't know if that directly answers the question, but I'm going to say Springer. I have concerns. I'm not saying that he's injured. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with him. I'm not saying he performed poorly. He didn't when he did. But they're handling him with kid gloves. And something tells me, given the fact that the Blue Jays have been very tight-lipped and very keeping injury concerns close to the vest, especially with this regime, with Atkins and Shapiro, I have my concerns heading into the season. I don't know that we're going to see a full throttle George Springer to start the season. And I don't know if it's because of injury, and I don't know if it's because they're trying to rest him up. I'm just a little worried.
Right.
So
we have breaking news for after this conversation.
What's up? No, go ahead, break it.
33 seconds ago. Blue Jays acquire Bradley Zimmer from Cleveland in exchange for Anthony Castro.
What?
Oh, wow.
So, more outfield depth, and a guy also that is a Dexter Fowler all over again in another trade. But that's a 40-man roster move, guys.
He'll be in AAA, though.
Zimmer was highly regarded at one point.
Speedy guy.
We finally have
one
breaking
news on
the show.
Wow. So he really disappointed me.
Thank you, Hazel May, for giving me cool things.
Yeah. But yeah,
Hazel broken outfielder acquisition. Michael Brantley wasn't on the team.
Yeah. Everybody on Twitter
the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays
says this isn't J-Ram.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. The Toronto Blue Jays have announced it as well. So
okay, so it's official.
Good job, Hazel.
It's official.
And the third question was who sort of disappointed, but I'm not worried about. I guess Springer could have fit into that category. But I'm gonna say Cavan. He wasn't lights out. He wasn't amazing. I think this is not me just being a son of a bitch when it comes to Biggio season, I swear.
Oh, I think it is.
No,
cool.
I think
he's really good.
He's going to he's my breakout guy, dude. He is. I think he's going to give him breakout. He needs that
breakout.
Give him regular playing time at second base now that it's pretty much a given Jose Ramirez is not going to be on this team, not going to be playing second base. You give him opportunities. Yeah, okay. You give him opportunities to play at second base and right field. I have a lot of faith in Cavan. So there you go. Okay. There's my three.
All right. Craig, over to you.
All right. So what was it again? Seeing I interrupted myself and Adam.
One player that impressed you, one player that you're concerned about might get off to a slow start or stumble, and name a player who struggled, but you're not worried about.
All right, I'm gonna start with the guy I say struggled, but I can't say he struggled because I just didn't get to see him. I was really excited to see Gabriel Moreno this spring, and Blue Jays fans were robbed of that due to visa issues and just stupid fun with customs.
Damn custom.
Yeah, exactly. So it is what it is, I guess. But to that point, I was very excited to see what he could bring to the table on this and how much he might even force the conversation for this spring. And he didn't get that opportunity. And it really kind of sucks. So that's my one for the unfortunate struggles one. The guy that I think that had the best spring from what I saw is the Blue Jays lineup is Lourdes Gurriel Jr. played most games and was doing really good at the plate. And to that point, I think he still looks like he's getting more and more comfortable in left field every day. I don't think he's ever going to be a real gold glove winner in left field, but that arm of his is going to make up for some of those facts that he doesn't have the range as some of those guys do. But he's not any different than having Teoscar over in left field. So perfect wash, I guess, into that point. I just think he's going to finish his season, or he's going to pick this season up and run with how he finished last season. He was one of the best hitters in baseball after the All-Star break last year, as far as, batting average on base and that kind of stuff. So I think he's ready to run with that. And I don't think it's saying a breakout with what we saw him do at the end of the last season. As far as my breakout candidate, I really kind of tend to agree with, the conversation here with Adam, that second base is where the breakout is. It has to be Kevin Biggio for him to stay a Blue Jay, but I am really intrigued with Santiago Espinal. And I think he has a chance to do just as many great things. So there's that. And then you said the guy that, what was the other one? Breakout player?
Struggled, but you're not concerned about.
Struggled, but not concerned about. We did get to see Matt Chapman pretty efficiently this spring, but it was very ups and downs. And I'm hoping that just is just spring training, not being in enough ball games, and he gets a chance to show Blue Jays fans why we were not only defensively very excited for him, but I really think that he has a chance to do exactly what Josh Donaldson did when he came here from Oakland and just truck in the American League East. Those ballparks are played for a guy like him that hits hard line drives. And if he can play to any kind of, in the right direction in his strikeouts to walks ratio, it's going to show. I really don't think this guy's a 230, 240 hitter. I think he's closer somewhere in the ballpark of 270 batting average. And if that happens, he is a 30 home run hit guy all day, every day in this lineup with 100-something RBIs.
Yeah, fully agreed. Chris?
All right. So my guy that impressed me the most is not going to be on this team and probably not going to be on this team
or Elvis
this year.
Bradley Zimmer.
And he should be, is Elvis Martinez. How can you not fall in love with this guy? This guy was hitting the ball like a machine all spring training and then got sent down. He's going to have such a fire in him to try and get himself up here. He's going to catapult himself through the minor league system. He's starting in Double-A. I would say
Buffalo before anybody knows it.
He will be in Buffalo before June 1st.
I don't disagree with you.
And he will do everything he can to force himself onto this team for a playoff push. Moreno's probably going to be the guy first to get onto this team just for experience and politics and whatnot. He'll be the one first. And who's kidding who? There's going to be service time manipulation because they really didn't do anything to address that in CBA. So it's going to happen still. Sorry to say, but it's going to happen. And we're probably not going to see him this year, although he probably should be on this team this year. Somebody that worries me, and it's not so much the spring training, but a grouping result of last year. Engine Ryu is not going to have a good year this year. It's going to be very rough.
Ryu season, boys.
It's really not.
Chris, say it with your chest. Say it with your entire chest. Man.
He really worries me. His velocity isn't there anymore. If he can't locate the way he used to, we are in for a very rough season. If he's pitching this many games against the AL East, you have Masters in New York. You have Masters in you have them in Tampa. You definitely have them in Boston. The boys in Baltimore aren't anything to slouch about, especially
1 through 5.
They do. They're not gonna do shit this year, but like you still got to get through them, and they're going to. here's the way I'll put it. Ryu's going to see a lot of Baltimore this year. They're going to put him in positions to face Baltimore because he's not going to be able to pitch against Boston and New York and Tampa. So they're going to move him around. He likes extra rest. So if they can push him to a Baltimore series, they're going to do it. And he's going to have to put up and shut up that he can still do it, or it's going to be trouble for him. And that's it. When he first came on, and Wes and I were talking about it on Jay's Jam, we were saying that you need 3 good years from him and you can burn the 4th year. And we're in year number 3 right now. And this is a big compete year. So you need him to be on. And if he's on, this team is going to be very, very good. If he is not on, we're going to be in for a little bit of trouble. And that really concerns me. What was the third one? Somebody who struggled, but
that you're not concerned
they're going to be
about.
fine?
Yeah.
Teoscar.
Yeah, sure.
Teoscar didn't have a great spring. But I'm going to say, I'll go out on a limb here and say that obviously Guerrero is the top spot, but like after Guerrero, in this batting order, Teoscar's your next most important player.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You need a good season from him, and I think he's going to deliver. I think he's probably going to hit 40 home runs this year.
I wouldn't be shocked.
I wouldn't be shocked by that. He's got the pop, and he definitely has figured out that patience.
Here, I'll give it this. He's gonna hit 290 with 40 home runs and probably somewhere between 100 and 110 RBIs.
Bold predictions are later in the show.
I can make up more of those. Don't worry.
Orelvis Martinez steals a job.
Yeah, exactly.
Season.
Oh yeah. Come on now.
Here, let me pour another.
How many beers before you do that again?
Yeah. No,
it's a birthday episode.
Yeah, exactly. You can say whatever you want on the birthday episode to a point.
It's not fair. He gets Blue Jays for his birthday.
Yeah, he gets opening day for his birthday. That's pretty
good. Opening day.
I'm gonna go my guy who surprised me. I wouldn't say surprised, but I'm now expecting a step forward is Alek Manoah. He absolutely dealt all spring long, and I think he's going to take the next level. And if Hyun-Jin Ryu does continue to stumble, you still have a very solid 1 through 3 with Barrios, Gausman, and Manoah. So that's who I'm going to go with for my guy who impressed me a lot. Looked really good.
I like that.
Now, I'm also going to go with on the pitching side for somebody who concerns me a little bit because I'm going to read something out to you guys right now. 8 innings pitched.
You did research.
I have it up here. I have all the stats.
Did you forget he's the stat guy on the show? We're all just a bunch of drunk
I'll always
idiots.
have Fangraphs open or some sort of stats website. But 8 innings pitched, 15 hits given up, 10 earned runs given up. Does that sound like anybody? No, not Kikuchi.
Barrios.
Barrios. And there were some.
He'll be fine.
And that's where I was
starter.
debating where to place him because I do think he'll be fine. But at the same time, there were some starts, probably working off the rust, where his velocity was down. And that's a lot of hits to give up in 8 innings. Again, only spring training, and you're always working and tinkering on things. So I guess he's kind of. I'm not fully concerned about Barrios, but I'm going to keep an eye out on his velocity tomorrow night on opening day, and then also how he starts his season. And then to flip the script, I got 2 guys who struggled for different reasons, but I'm going to be comfortable with. Hyun-Jin Ryu is one; he'll be fine, and George Springer as well will be a full go.
Yes,
his at bat levels were very. He had the same amount of ABs as Kevin. They both had 21.
Yeah.
Only played 2 games less. And he wasn't too far off other regulars either. So I think Springer will be okay. I'm hopeful, Adam. I hope that you're wrong and that he will be okay. But
this trade makes me a little bit more nervous that something's going on.
You're not the only one. That's literally what everything's going on in our Twitter chat and stuff right now.
You're putting in
our buddy
insurance in
Tyson.
center. Yeah, you have insurance in center field right now. I mean, for everything I'm reading, Zimmer can't really hit, but there's speed there. It's a left-handed bat. Right, so that obviously makes sense, but I don't know. Something's not right.
Did you see what Davidi put up for his Savant page for Bradley Zimmer? He's in his 75th percentile of exit velocity. He's for average, he's in the max exit velocity. He's in the 91st percentile. It's Randall Grichuk. Yep. It's really what it is.
He was a top 25 prospect, Bradley Zimmer, but he just cannot stop striking out as Brendan.
And he can't stay healthy. And his biggest problem is his legs have been up to where his health is. And when you guys know how it is. You watch enough baseball, you lose your legs, you lose your pop. It's just how it is. So
did you hear about the exit velocity for Tapia?
No,
is one of the highest exit velocities, but his launch angle is in the negative.
Oh shit! Why?
If he just gets the ball in the air, he might hit 20 home runs.
Yeah, Bradley Zimmer.
They were talking about that on At the Letters, but
yeah, Bradley Zimmer is also 97th percentile of sprint speed in all Major League Baseball.
All right, so he's fast.
He's fast.
He has no options, right? So he's coming. Josh.
He's coming to Toronto, I would think.
He's coming to Toronto. All right. So the first question: who's going down? It's got to be Collins.
I would assume so. Although, I still am a little confused about how his options were because he had one left and they recalled him. So I don't know if they still have that because the White Sox used it at the end of spring training.
No, they wouldn't have brought him on if they still don't have that option.
Okay.
Who's the Japanese gentleman that made our team?
Kato.
Yeah, do you think he would be the guy off? You already got Joe and Espinal playing for
the story with Kato. Like it seems like a very feel good story right now.
Yeah, then it's the Mario incarnated, right?
Yeah,
that'd be a huge dick move considering how much the team was hyping kind of that story, which it's business. So whatever.
Yeah, maybe Trent Thornton. I don't know. Maybe the last guy in
Thornton
the
or somebody's hurt. Thornton or somebody's
That's what
hurt.
I'm saying. I'm not trying to put anything out there. I'm not trying to put voodoo in it, but maybe
one of these things is not like the other.
But could you only have one backup outfielder right now, right? So now you have two, which is always good. So if you wanted to have an extra backup outfielder, sure. But I'm looking at center field. I'm looking at a guy with speed. I'm looking at a guy that strikes out a ton. Sounds like Randall Grichuk to me, and sounds like
I'm not the only one.
Something might be up. That's just where my head's at. The
Twitterverse is hyping the fact that we're not going to have a third catcher in about 5 minutes. That's basically everybody's general consensus is the fact that Collins is now the expendable gentleman.
Yes, I think that's regardless what's going to be at the end of the day. But yeah, that's interesting. It'll be worth keeping an eye on to see what happens over the course of the first few games. Because we did that with Springer when he came back last year, and you saw what ended up happening. But anyways, I don't want to go down that route a little more. Prediction time, more so across the general MLB. I know we typically focus on just the Blue Jays, but I want to go through the division winners and award winners, and then we will focus on Blue Jays award winners specifically for this season. So, Chris, the birthday boy tomorrow, I'm going to lead off with you. Go through all 6 divisions and give us your division winners and your 3 wild card teams.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
On the spot.
Hey, it was part of the agenda.
Okay.
I don't do homework.
I don't do
grown
homework.
man.
I come up with this on the go. Okay, Blue Jays. White Sox. Mariners.
Ooh,
good pick.
It's a sneaky pick, but it's Julio season, man.
No, it's not. Yeah, it is. How many wild cards do we have now? We have 3. 3?
Are they all coming from the AL East, or are you going somewhere else?
No. One of them? Tampa. Where do I want to be bold?
Say it.
The safe pick is New York.
Oh, you want to?
You think the Red Sox are going to sneak in, aren't you?
No. Houston. Minnesota.
Yep. Okay. Be bold. That's where I was going.
That would be bold.
Are we doing the NL as well?
Yeah, go for the NL.
Yeah.
Okay, Dodgers.
Gusto.
Dodgers are going to win the West. Central. Fuck. St. Louis.
Okay. I like
Angels season.
Yeah, and then the East, Atlanta, and then the Mets will get in. The Phillies.
So 2 from the East.
And the Giants.
No Padres?
Ooh, no Brews.
Okay.
As he drinks his beer.
Craig, over to you.
I think the Phillies are just going to bludgeon their way in.
I do too.
It will be very, very close. Like the NL wild card the wild cards are going to be stupid this year. It's going to be wicked
everywhere.
Yeah. Wild card.
It's going to be wicked because you have Boston
say.
In the AL. You have Boston that could be in. You have the Yankees that could be in. There could be a dogfight with Houston.
The
there
Tigers
could be a dogfight with the Blue Jays. There could be a dogfight with the Rays, Minnesota. Hell, if Cleveland pitches their way in, like they don't have anybody to hit the ball other than Ramirez. But if they could pitch their way in,
even get in.
The Angels could get in. Like they picked up some pitching, they shored up their bullpen really nicely.
And Syndergaard actually looks like he was healthy.
People can shit on Aaron Loop all they want, but they really solidified their bullpen. Like the Yankees or the Angels could be right in there, and like in the NL, like that. Especially with these teams that have DH now, you don't have to play that stupid game. I know some people really love the whole, the manager really has to think. Well, like, fuck, no, they don't think anymore, so it doesn't really matter. But like
numbers.
But like that adds something else. Like they don't have to screw around. Like the guys can just go and hit, and pitchers can just go and pitch and not worry about it. Like it's going to be so fun this year thinking about the wild card. So fun. Like there's going to be more instances. There's going to be, because there isn't a play-in anymore, but it's going to come down to the last day on either the NL or AL this year.
Probably.
Again. And it's going to be wild. And I hope to God we aren't in it again. I hope to God we aren't in it.
That was terrifying.
I don't think any of us can deal with it.
If you're around 500 going into September, you're still very much in the race for a third wild card. So that's going to be exciting enough.
Yep.
Craig, your division winners and wild cards.
My division winners, I got to go with the Blue Jays because I really just don't see how the Yankees or the Red Sox are legit better than us. And the Tampa Bay Rays are the Tampa Bay Rays. They're going to find a way to win 90 games. But to that point, I really think that the White Sox are the clear-cut winner for the frickin' Central. Mm-hmm. I think the Twins and the Tigers are going to give them a little bit of a push for their, a little bang for their buck for ring that at least. And then the West, as much as I don't want to fucking say it, I hate the Astros and I don't want to see them ever win. But I don't see how the Mariners took enough strides to actually, solidify their lineup. If their rookies hit, though, they're going to be right in that conversation. That's really what I think it comes down to for the Mariners. Angels peppered in just enough, and you got to hope that you're getting Mike Trout back legit. And he has looked like that this spring. So I'm thinking that, yes, Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani are going to just go nuts in those two spots. Yes. And I think that's where the thing is. But as far as the wild card goes, I think two of those teams are easily going to be out of the American League East. Right now, I'm still waiting, and I'm drinking the same Kool-Aid apparently I drank last year, that I don't know how the Red Sox are a good team to make the playoffs right now outside of their offense. They have Nathan Eovaldi pitching today as their opening day starter. Great. Kurt Sale's hurt again. Who else is pitching? You lost Rodriguez to the Tigers over the offseason. You're hoping and praying that they're going to get to that bullpen where it's got enough maybe to eat up some innings, but I think it's going to tire them out too quick, and they're going to end up
destroyed that bullpen last year too.
Correct. So I really think that last spot is going to be down to the Twins, Angels, and Mariners if they do come down to it. And I think actually, funny enough, the Twins are actually going to be the team that comes out on top of that. I think there's just enough going on in that locker room, and I don't see an issue. I see a guy like Miguel Sano coming back to form for the Twins to be able to actually hit things like that. I do think the Twins are a J-Hap guy away from having their rotation good enough to compete, but we'll see. But I like that offense, and I like what the Twins are doing. National League, I have Braves all day winning that division. I have the Mets not making the playoffs with all these injuries that keep piling up already. I think the Brewers are going to be in a cat and dog race or a fight with the Cardinals and the Brewers, but I think the Brewers are going to edge them out. Dodgers all day. Mm-hmm. And then I think the Padres and Giants are actually going to be 2 of the wild cards with the Phillies sneaking in for the other one.
So you have the Mets missing.
I do have the Mets missing, and it's going to be all because of injuries.
Yeah, which is already
not because that roster is not well constructed. They're just banking on the fact that they got a lot of veterans hoping to return to form and get guys like Jake DeGrom actually healthy, which already I drafted him 20th round in my fantasy baseball draft the other night and stashing him in my IL. So just saying. And now you got Mad Max that also appears to be not fully healthy as well.
No,
That
he's
was their whole
ready to
offseason
go.
plan. Oh, is he ready to go?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's going to pitch tomorrow.
Okay. But to that point, how healthy is he really? I know Mad Max will pitch through anything because that's why we call him Mad Max. But
if the Mets miss the playoffs, how much money does Cohen spend next year?
a lot more.
All. And but to that point, it's like, okay, they're hoping to get what they got out of that offense, and they let guys like Michael Conforto go, and I don't think Starling Marte is really healthy. There's a lot going on there out under the surface for the Mets, and I just don't think it's going to translate to a playoff berth for them.
Corsair, to you.
Start with the West.
You've been thinking about this.
I just feel like
He's the logical one.
Yeah, the knee-jerk pick is the Astros.
But you're leaning Mariners, I can sense.
I want to say Mariners, but I am leaning Los Angeles. I just think they're ready. I think they're ready, and I think they want it. And I think year 2 Ohtani. Well, sorry, it's not year 2 Ohtani, but post MVP Ohtani is just going to be. I think he's going to be better than last year. So I'm going to say Angels. White Sox in the Central. My longing heart wants to say the Blue Jays. My bleeding heart wants to say the Rays.
Fuck you.
We are in agreement there.
Yeah, so
It's Biggio season.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Jays, but I'm not comfortable. I'm just not comfortable with that. But I'm gonna say the Jays. We doing wild cards first?
Yeah, go wild cards.
Rays are getting a wild card for sure. I'm gonna say Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm gonna say Minnesota. I'm going to say the Yankees and the Red Sox don't make the postseason just because I fucking want it.
Yeah.
Do they pick who they want to play this year?
I thought that was
I think that's
year.
next year.
I think that's next year.
Next year?
Yeah.
This year it's based off of
God
ranking
help
and
whoever
season
gets the Rays in the wild card game.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Nobody is picking them.
For
NL.
the NL East, I'm saying Braves. Central, I'm saying Brewers. I don't even think it's that much of a contest. I think the Brewers are gonna be so good this year.
That pitching
and
is nuts.
Yeah, West is gonna be the Dodgers. So like, I feel like the NL is a little bit easier to call.
At least the division winners.
Yes. So for the wild card, I don't think the Mets get in either. So I'm gonna say San Diego, San Fran, and St. Louis.
Okay. All right. Okay. I am going with the Rays to win the division.
Yeah.
And that's all because of my New Year's resolution episode from a couple of years ago to never discount.
Don't outraise the Rays.
I just can't do it yet. Don't outraise the Rays. The White Sox, I think, I'm not going to say they're going to run away with the Central because, Craig, you brought up a great point. The Tigers are going to be a lot better than people give them credit for. That young rotation they've built are going to be really good maybe as soon as this year or next year. One more big off season, they'll be legit. But the White Sox, then the Astros in the West. The wild cards, Blue Jays are wild card number 1. The Yankees are wild card number 2, and the Mariners are wild card number 3. In the National League, I got the exact same 3 division winners as you, Adam: the Braves, the Brewers, and the Dodgers. I differ a tad on the wild cards. The Padres are my wild card number 1. The Mets are my wild card number 2, and the St. Louis Cardinals are my wild card number 3. And
So I got
the Cardinals.
the Giants, you have the Mets.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where we're going. And I was going to say pick award winners for all those 2, but let's just focus on award winners for the Blue Jays. And let's start, Adam, I'll go back to you because you ended with your division picks. So give us your Blue Jays Cy Young Award winner. Give us your Blue Jays MVP. And then maybe, I don't know, I know this isn't an award, but let's say your Blue Jays most improved player, bringing in a basketball award, which I think should be in baseball.
gonna work.
MIP is Biggio, and I'm not trying to be funny. MIP is Biggio.
Damn,
Cy Young is going to be Manoah, and MVP is going to be Vladdy. I think it's easy.
Yeah.
Chris?
Is it me? Yeah.
Hmm. All three are the same. Manoah.
Oh,
wow.
Have you been playing MLB The Show?
No, because I think he's going to be your best pitcher this year, and if he's your best pitcher, he is then your most improved
and most valuable too.
And you're probably your most valuable at the same time.
Yeah.
Unless Pearson comes back and is that lights out closer.
And improved, yeah, sure.
And then there's a lot riding on that, but I will take all three. Because I'm only saying all three because like Guerrero's probably going to be like 1 or 2 in MVP voting this year.
Yeah.
So like we're just going to discount that, but like your most valuable player to your team aside from Guerrero is going to be Manoah if he has the year that I think like ERA around 3, if not sub 3.
Close to 20.
Close to 20 wins. What else do you?
How do you not?
Like,
if we end up getting
around
a 100 win season, how you
around
not
175 innings pitched, if not a little bit more, maybe. Which might be a stretch, but like you're gonna need him to pitch all year and into the playoffs. So you're gonna have like whatever innings limits you may think you want on him, you're gonna have to say fuck it.
I don't think he has any. How many did he throw last year? 150, something like that.
Yeah. So
doesn't
if he
matter.
threw 100,
No one pitched past the 7th.
Yeah.
True.
If you
it's not
going
to change with this bullpen
last year, then 175 to 185 this year.
Yeah,
he's a big boy. He can handle it.
Yes, he can. Craig, over to you.
So I'll get to my ulterior one, but so far as the most improved guy, I think it's going to end up being Danny Jansen because I think he's going to make himself a trade chip.
I like that.
I really do. And to that point, I love where you're going.
Didn't you also say
Chris,
they were trading Kirk? Oh no, Adam said
I did.
They were trading Kirk earlier. I was going to say, like,
Yeah,
who the hell is catching?
Nobody.
Gabriel Moreno. We already had this discussion.
Oh,
That Collins.
yeah, Moreno and Collins.
So anyway, the most improved guy I think is going to be him, just because if it isn't, he is done, and he's going to just be that B catcher on any Major League Baseball team / quadruple A player, and I don't think he is that guy. I had the pleasure of watching him for a long time for minor leagues when I was doing the beat writing with Jay's Journal and whatnot between New Hampshire and Buffalo, watching him come up. And there is something to that bat. He's not just a defensive catcher. It hasn't materialized, and I think we might have gotten a season preview at the end of last year when he finally came back healthy. There was something that clicked there at the end. And if he even clicks to half of what he was doing there at the end of the season, he is going to be a very improved catcher on the offensive side of the ball. To where you were going, Chris, I love the idea of Alek Manoah being the most improved, but I think he's already one of the best pitchers on this team. So if he's improving from one of the best guys to the best guy, it's not it's a gap thing. It's not as much there where Danny Jansen all of a sudden goes, oh my God, you know what I mean? It's going to be earth shattering stuff for the Blue Jays.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually going to say Kikuchi is possibly my other one because he ended up having a great start to his season. And I think he has a chance to continue what he did right there. But I won't steal Adam or Brendan's thunder if they want to talk more on that one. As far as my Cy Young Award guy, I think it will be Barrios. I think what we've been seeing this spring, to Brendan's point that he pointed out a little bit while ago on the show, is a blip on the radar. Maybe he was only throwing breaking pitches that day. Yeah. Maybe he was only doing this. He is one of those guys. You saw how fired he was up against his old team a week after he was there in Toronto with the new club and yelling at screaming at his old guys across the field. Because of the Manoah hitting somebody, which, by the way, just bold prediction, Manoah will lead the league again in hit by pitch batters. It's going to happen. So
can't have that because then he's going to get suspended. He's not going to hit that 20-game threshold.
But to that point on where I was going there, Barrios, we paid him to be the ace of this staff, and I truly think that he is ready to be that guy, and he's going to run with it. As far as MVP, this is where my bold prediction is going to be, guys.
I like it.
Vlad Jr. is going to be an MVP level player. He is going to do what he did last year. Bo Bichette is going to have an even bigger season, is my opinion. He could be a guy that looks very Simeon like in home run numbers by the end of the season, still steal 30 bases and somewhere in the mid, around 300s. And then he has a chance, if he's been doing the work like we've all been reading, to continue to be a shortstop at the major league level. He pushes it for a Gold Glove. He wins the MVP award for the Blue Jays.
Damn. I like that. I feel for some reason Bo hasn't been talked a lot about this spring training. I just haven't seen his name brought up a lot on Twitter. So
other than he has a really, really damn cool bobblehead coming out.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm kind of jealous. I lost all my hair. I cut it off.
The thing that got lost with him that I didn't realize until I listened to ATL the other day, he declined his arbitration raise or whatever it was.
What? Really?
Yeah, so he ended up losing money.
What?
Yeah.
You didn't think he did well enough to earn more money or something?
No. I honestly forget how the conversation almost went, but it was almost like a line drawn in the sand of that. No, I'm actually worth more than this.
Oh, so he's like trying to
get the extension.
Yeah, it's something more than that, which I kind of figured from him. So him and Manoah were the two players that basically declined their raises this year. Bo would have been somewhere around 24,000, which, whatever, you can think that that's a lot of money, or it's not a lot of money to these guys. And Manoah declined like 6,000. So, but basically, the way that it was worded was they think that they're worth more than that, so pay up.
Yeah.
And he's going to force that issue if he comes anywhere near that comment that I just had. And then guess what? Hurry up and figure out a way to pay Vlad and Bo for the King's ransom for ungodly amount of years.
100%. 100%.
Do it.
Craig, you kind of led into my most improved player. I am going Yusei Kikuchi. He did get hit around a little bit in one outing, but at the end of the day, he still posted some pretty impressive strikeout totals for a limited sample size in spring. I don't know. I feel like he might be one of the best fifth starters this team has had at season's end in the last, 15, 20 years. I know that 2016 rotation I don't think will ever be beat just because of the health alone. But Kikuchi will come damn close to being the best one they've had. The Cy Young, I'm going to go Gausman. I just think I know that there's maybe a little bit of concern about how he declined in the second half after the sticky stuff ban, but you saw the Tigers look foolish against a splitter on Monday when he went out there, or Tuesday when he went out and pitched. So I'm going to go Gausman for Cy. And he's, for anybody who remembers him from his Orioles days and hasn't been paying attention, he's a much, much better pitcher than he was when he was with the Orioles back in the day. And then MVP, just to go off the board a little bit. Well, I wouldn't even say off the board, but just to not pick Vlad, I'll pick Springer, because I really do think that a full season of Springer will help mitigate the loss of Marcus Semien, especially when you added Matt Chapman at the end of the day. So Springer would be my pick for MVP, because he's the kind of guy you need to perform well if you are going to go deep in the playoffs at the end of the day. And let's just hope he stays healthy for a full 162. Hell, I'll take 140 compared to what he did last year. How many games did he end up playing last year and he still hit, 23, 24 bombs? It was wild what he did last year in such a limited sample size. So,
it's 78 games or something.
Yeah, and he had like 22, 23 homers. So Springer in a full one, even if it's 140, could eclipse 40 home runs in the American League East for sure. Mm-hmm. Okay.
As a leadoff hitter.
I know.
All right.
I mean, that just speaks to the excitement.
Bradley Zimmer, team MVP.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right, guys. Well, here we are at the end of this episode, and we are getting back into picks to click. For everybody who's listened the past couple of years, obviously we've grown in terms of the hosts we have on this show. So now we have 4 picks to click for this entire season. So, Craig, I know you've been the guy who's been keeping score the entire time. And because you do that, I am going to give you the first pick for this week. And we also added on at probably midway through last season, your record predictions. And we're going to go, because we're looking to record next week, I think Wednesday or Thursday. Just predict the whole Yankees series. That's a 4-gamer. So 3 against Texas at home to open the season. Then they go to Yankee Stadium for 4 games. So Craig, you're on the spot.
I think the Rangers are going to somehow find a way just to piss us off because, 2015, 2016, they're going to steal one of those games. And then I think we're going to take a giant dump on the Yankees and go into their ballpark and steal every damn game watching them this spring.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get off to a tear, my boys. Just saying. At least that's my feel.
So that's
as far
six,
as my
6-1.
You heard it. And then my pick, I'm going with Lourdes because I think he's been riding a hot bat.
Okay, let's go over to the birthday boy.
2-1 against the Rangers. Who are we facing for pitching? We're gonna see Cole at least once.
Gonna see Cole. The only one they won't see is whoever pitches Sunday for the Yankees.
Which they haven't even announced because they don't have no fucking clue.
Yeah. 3-1 against the Yankees. So what's that? 5-2.
5-2.
5-2 start. Springer.
Nice. Adam?
Even with the news, he's going with that clip.
I'll go. They'll take 2 against. No, fuck it. They'll sweep the Rangers.
Yeah, you listening, Richard Burfer?
Yeah, I was gonna say eat it, Rich. Then they'll split with New York. So that's what, 5?
5-2.
Yeah, 5-2.
And I'll go Chapman.
Oh, I like that.
Ooh.
He's
Going with a new guy.
That's gonna be mine.
That is
I
good.
like it a lot.
He's gonna hit the first
host.
home run tomorrow.
That's
He's
what I
gonna
think.
he's gonna hit their first home run tomorrow.
That's what I think as well.
Second inning.
I already know I do think they split the Yankees series. So there's 2 right there, 2-2. And I'm very torn on if I do a sweep because I just don't remember the last, especially if they win tomorrow and Saturday and they don't walk away with a sweep on Sunday. That's a little deflating when you just don't start the season with a complete exclamation mark. And I don't want
you got Barrios, Gosman, Manoah.
Ryu.
Oh, Ryu? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Definitely 2-1 then.
Yeah, but it's against the Rangers. Like I'm not worried about the Rangers.
Yeah,
You want to know
that's
why I'm
Simeon.
worried for one? I'm worried
Simeon?
about one, and it's close to what Corey Seager is going to have a day where he's going to go off in that series.
Probably. Just to not feel that deflation of winning the first 2 and losing a third. I don't know. I'm going to go 2-1. Maybe they drop Saturday, which I hope not because I'll be at the game on Saturday. So hopefully they don't drop that one. But 2-1 against the Rangers, 2-2 against the Yankees. So that's 4-3 for me. And I'm being conservative on purpose because I do think, not to tip my cap, but when they play Oakland the week after, that's when they really get a hot streak.
There you go.
So save
There
that.
you
For Oh, and
So
my
what do you-
player, Gosman. I love going pitching because it just takes one really dominant outing to potentially win picks the click. So I'm going to go Kevin Gosman.
You might get 2 out of this too, so you're going to be
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
So,
he'd pitch on the
pitched it-
Thursday. He pitched Thursday, so when we record next, he'll be pitching.
Yep.
There you go.
So what was your record? I'm sorry, I missed it.
4-3.
4-3. Okay. Can I see? We just did the picks to click for the first, the kickoff show here. Tyson at Jay's Journal asked us a question that he wants to include in our article that was actually on our original agenda here, and I'm sure we can just do this in like 2 seconds anyway.
Yeah.
A bold prediction each for the
Sure.
Blue Jays season.
Good. Brendan, you kicked that one off.
Oh, I need to think about that. I was going to defer it to somebody else.
All right. I'll go. Bold prediction.
As I say, if you want me to go first, I'll do mine.
Ethan.
No, it's not bold. That's just obvious. That's just obvious. Based on what happened,
Alec Manoah's in the
rumors-
top 5 for Cy Young voting.
It's not obvious. That's obvious. Based on what the rumors we heard from the Marlins, I think Teo is traded by the deadline.
Ooh,
Holy
Wait,
shit. What?
He was going to be
bold
traded.
That's a bold
He was
prediction.
going to be traded this past offseason to the Marlins.
For Who?
Pablo
You know,
Lopez.
Pitching,
you
pitching.
showed us the article.
Yeah, but I think it was.
You
I was
shared
hoping
the
it was
article,
satire.
bro.
Oops.
I thought they were joking.
It's supposed to be a bold prediction. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
think this
true. That
is
is
gonna happen.
that is damn bold. And Adam, that's not you saying you hope that happens.
No. I don't want it to happen.
No.
I just think that like he's clearly dispensable to the front office, right? Like they dangled him out, and there was a trade on the
Is
table.
this his walk year or is next year his walk year?
I think it's next year.
Next year,
Yeah.
I think.
I think it's
Yeah.
with him and Lourdes both are in the same
Mhm.
pond. So that's definitely a bold prediction, my friend.
And Chris, are you sticking with yours that Manoah's in the top 5 for Cy?
You can go first, and then I'll decide if that is my.
That is
Okay.
legit yours.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might be able to come up with an extra hot take just for
that guy.
my little special someone.
Mine is Matt Chapman finishes in the top 10 of AL MVP voting. Defensively alone, but also I do believe he bounces back offensively now that his hip is apparently 100% and ready to go. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if Matt Chapman comes in between 35 and 40 bombs. Yeah, Matt Chapman in the top 10 of AL MVP voting.
There you go. Chris, you want to go first or you want me to?
Alek Manoah is in the top 3 of Cy Young voting.
Ooh.
Well, you have a very good track record of calling Cy Youngs these days. So there
Let
you
me-
go.
you.
Mr.
Let me ask you this:
You called Robbie Ray like what? Spring training last year?
I called it. It was March. I could find the date. It was like March 24th last year that I said he was going to win the Cy Young.
who is in?
I would have
In
made
that
a
top
lot of
3.
money if I bet that.
Like
Who's
other
in the
pitchers
top
around
3?
I would assume Cole is in there
No.
for AL Cy Young. No, okay.
I would have before today said Shane Bieber would be there, but man, his velocity was down like crazy. But the weather was also pretty bad in Kansas City at first. So although I'll put in Bieber with that. Bieber's up there.
So
I think it's gonna be a change in the guard in that whole argument this year.
it's got to be Cole. Like he's got to be in there.
Shohei.
In Cy Young.
Yes.
Nobody wins an
And-
MVP if he does that. Just
Nope.
him.
Yeah. Shohei is going to be in there, and
Does Robbie Ray do it again?
that I'm debating him.
Bigger
Or Lance-
ballparks in the AL West.
Yeah, or
Yeah, it's only gonna help him.
or Lance McCullers.
I like
a good
Lance
comeback
McCullers
story.
as a dark horse there.
Okay.
The safe bet is Cole, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna be bold. I'm gonna be really bold. It's gonna go Shohei, Manoah, McCullers.
So he's top 2.
Yep.
Okay.
But I'm just giving myself buffer. I'm giving
Okay,
myself
all right.
buffer
Okay.
because like you can't do that 2 years in a row. Like, come on.
Yeah. I got you.
All right, so I guess it's my turn then.
Mr. Borden.
I'm gonna double down on my Bo Bichette comment here and say he finishes with 30-30.
I
Didn't
like
Vladdy
home
say
runs.
that he was gonna do
Just
that?
get bold, man. Say 40-40.
He's definitely gonna push 40-40. I'm thinking 30-30 is the safe bet, honestly. I think
This
he's
is
gonna
supposed
come
to be
close.
bold.
Right, this
Hold
is a
on.
bold prediction.
Okay,
Say
fine then.
40-40.
Fucking 50-50, you know.
If 40-40 doesn't happen, you could be like, bro, it's a bold decision, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't think Taylor's
Adam
going to
just
get
said
traded.
that Teoscar's gonna get traded, and
Come
I
on,
just
like-
said that Manoah and McCullers are gonna be.
I've
in the
had
fucking top
very good
3
luck
for-
on my bold predictions
Say
actually being
40-40.
legit for true. Fine, fuck it, 40-40.
Next
God, you guys are fresher.
Just say it. Just say it.
Yeah,
Pressure's
and to
a
that
bitch.
point though, I already said he's winning the MVP for the Blue Jays. And if he does that to beat Vladdy, that means he's a top 3 guy in the MVP
Yeah.
race.
40-40. I love it.
Fuck. Beats Shohei.
I like it. I like it. Well, I can sense a ton of excitement amongst the 4 of us for tomorrow night, as we should be. This is probably the most exciting season, I want to say, since probably going into 2016 after they came off of a trip to the ALCS. There's big expectations for this team. There's big expectations for this podcast to deliver great content as the season goes along, and we will definitely be doing that as the season goes along, as per normal, with the 4 of us moving forward. Is there any final comments or questions from you guys? Anything you want to touch on before we do our final 2 claps and Ric Flair before the season begins?
I'll say it.
I'm
Let's do
going to
it.
say that I'm hosting a Twitter Spaces thing for us during the ball game on Sunday. It will be at 2:00, so you can enjoy watching a little bit of the game before we all start yelling at each other about what's going good or bad by then.
Oh no, we'll be yelling. That's a Ryu start. We'll be yelling.
No. We will be very calm because there'll be a lot of soft contact right to Matt Chapman, who will vacuum it all up.
There you go. But to that point, 2:00 Eastern time during the ball game this Sunday while the Blue Jays are playing the Rangers. Please join us. We'll talk it out, and I'm going to try making that a reoccurring thing each week. And we're going to have some people from Jays Journal, obviously some of our crew, if anybody's free, and we're going to have a good time.
Nice.
I love it.
Before we
All are
bounce, I do wanna
welcome.
say,
Drink beer and be happy.
Happy 21st birthday, Chris.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Enjoy your first beer. Well, you're in Canada, so enjoy
Yeah.
3 years later beer.
Yeah.
And don't drink and drive. And
Yeah.
Happy
11
birthday,
years late on that, but okay.
You
Yeah.
look so distinguished for a 21-year-old.
hey,
Yeah.
he's very seasoned.
Yes.
And
with a 7 and almost 3-year-old.
Yes.
But no, seriously, happy birthday, Chris.
Happy
Thank
birthday,
you.
Chris.
There you go.
Enjoy
Happy birthday,
opening
bro.
day tomorrow.
Yes.
And
I appreciate that.
there might be a birthday gift or a birthday drink coming from the Jaybird Watching podcast tomorrow night.
There you go.
Tomorrow afternoon. So we'll table that for then. But let's end this as we normally do, gentlemen, with 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Ready?
Good.
Woo!
Let's go,
Blue Jays.
Blue Jays.
Happy New
Remember
Year.
to wear your suit jackets.
Yes.
Get the Barrio jacket.
Woo!